I've tried to distance myself from my school and my background in certain ways as an adult, but I'd have to admit most of the steps I've taken have been pretty inconsequential so far. I'll give you an example. Last year, I decided I was going to stop eating Soreen malt loaves. Not an easy thing to do. I'm a lover of the loaf, but I'm sure I'm not alone in this room. Then I read a very persuasive article about consumer ethics by a journalist I follow called Arabella, about how she, also a lover of the loaf, had decided to renounce Soreen since learning that they were big Conservative Party donors, and she couldn't enjoy her favourite malt loaves, knowing that they were propping up a regime that she hated. I thought, fair enough, Arabella. Where you go, I will surely follow. It is probably important to add for context that I do know Arabella because our schools went on a joint ski trip together in 2005. A ski trip that Arabella and we did not enjoy. We were the outcasts of the ski trip. Is there a tinier violin in the land than the one being played for the outcasts of the ski trip, left out of the action, describing the antics in the chalet in her words as depraved, and in my words, irresponsible, with GCSEs just 17 weeks away. Let's not get our rocks off before we get our box off. A decade and a half later, I'm tracking her progress as a journalist, running away from her privilege as fast as I hope to run away from mine, and if she can give up Soreen, so can I. Of course, I will continue to eat the malt loaves that are home-cooked for me by friends of my parents who donate to the Conservative Party directly. I'm not going to make a scene in somebody's home. But I'm walking past it in the supermarket. I'm walking past the Soreen, and I'm walking past the Sabra hummus. That's not easy either. I loved Sabra hummus. Then I learned somewhere that Sabra apparently quite directly linked to violence in the Middle East. I read that and I thought, fine! Sainsbury's hummus isn't as creamy, but it'll have to do. And if your life involves that sentence, you've got to conclude that you've still got a pretty nice life. Again, these principles are not comprehensive. In March of last year, I went to watch Newcastle United playing at home. Hey, Ivo, aren't Newcastle United now fairly directly linked to violence in the Middle East? Yes, but a friend of mine's a Newcastle fan, and he said it'd be a fun boys' weekend, and it was. Obviously, I cut a strange figure at St James's Park, watching Newcastle United, eating my Sainsbury's hummus, thinking, I'm sending some pretty mixed messages to the Middle East right now. I think it's important to check your privilege where possible in life, but I also think it's important to be grateful for the opportunities you've received and the people who gave you those opportunities. My parents sent me away to an all-boys boarding school when I was 7 years old, but they thought that was the right decision, and who's to say whether that was a good decision or a bad decision? Space adventure. 1999. Percy was shooting to space in his rocket. He was beginning to feel dizzy. He didn't know if he would like space, and he missed his family. He wanted to be at home watching the FA Cup final. Would Man U be able to win it after the exciting win against Arsenal in the semi? Ryan Giggs scored the winning goal, and his tummy was so hairy that he took his shirt off. Percy couldn't take off his shirt because of his heavy spacesuit and the dangerous atmosphere. He felt lonely, but this was his job. He needed to concentrate on space. The end. To which my teacher has written, Ivo, I think it is you that needs to concentrate on space. This story is about football again. Also, I don't think... What a note this is to receive from a teacher, by the way. I don't think Ryan Giggs took his shirt off because his chest was so hairy. Who's to say?